introduce my good friend JeanCarlo, JC, if you will. When I first did the article about a year ago, and we touched base then, you told me you were 42. So I'm going to guess now you're the ripe old age of 43.
43.
You're a realtor. You're also the CEO of Fat Free Enterprise, Fat Free Foundation, and you're also the WBFF World Transformation Champion.
Yes, sir.
But more importantly than all that, I am honored that I can call you a friend. So, quick backstory as to how we got to this point. As JeanCarlo knows, JC knows, I'm a staff writer for Inside Fitness Magazine. And about a year ago, of course, I'm starting to lose my voice already. I wrote an article about plastic surgery and bodybuilding, but I wrote it from the male perspective because I wanted to focus on males in bodybuilding who have gone through plastic surgery procedures, such as I've done myself. And JC, you were one of the gentlemen that I interviewed at that time for that article.
Right.
So you've been on quite the journey, but actually, instead of me telling your story, let's hear it from the man himself. So can you please give us a quick history regarding your own fitness journey?
Yeah, so I'm going to do the fast version. And again, thank you for having me on your show. Thank you for putting me in your magazine. I also am happy that, to call you a friend, and I love the fact that we've, kept in touch. So basically one day I was looking on Facebook. I was laying in bed with my wife, and I saw in a matter of 2 weeks, I had two buddies, not buddies, but people from school that you high five in the halls and things like that. And two of them who were not in bad shape died of a heart attack. So I'm like, these guys are my age. At that time, I was weighing 431 pounds, which was my highest. Okay. I got scared and I said, you know what? I just had a kid. Let me go to the cardiologist. Let me check myself out, because if these guys drop dead, I'm dying in 30 minutes. You know what I mean? So I got really scared, got very paranoid. I went to my cardiologist. He did all the tests. He did everything. And he told me, listen, health-wise, you're perfect. You're super obese. It's really bad in that sense, but no high cholesterol. You don't have diabetes. Your typical doctor speech. But he did tell me, you have a 7% blood flow in your right leg. He goes, at the rate you're going, you will not last, not even 2 years.
Wow.
He goes, you are going to die. He goes, are you married? I said, yes. He goes, okay, here's my cell phone number. I need you to have your wife call me today because this is serious. 2, do you have any kids? I said, 1. How old is he? 4 or 5 at the time. He goes, okay, well, I'm going to be very straight up with you, and I'm going to talk to you as a normal person, not as a doctor. Basically, you have, am I allowed to say bad words here?
By all means, go right ahead.
His exact words were, listen, you fucked up your life. Don't fuck up your kid's life, because you will be dead in a year and a half. So I left there crying. And I decided to make a change. At that time, I could barely walk. I could not walk. My life was from the bed to the dinner table, from the dinner table to the sofa, from the sofa to the bed. That's it. My kid would play on my stomach. And I couldn't tie my shoes. I would shower every other day. I slept with a breathing machine, and life sucked. Mentally, I wouldn't see my family. I sell real estate in Miami. At that time, I was selling high-end condos. And I had a client who wanted to buy a $1.1 million condo cash, which represents a $33,000 commission. And I told him that I was not available because I was embarrassed of what he would see now based on what he saw before. So that's when I knew that I hit rock bottom. So I started working out. I worked out. I lost 100-something pounds. One day I'm on YouTube and I see those side little videos. I see a video. Actually, I went to YouTube to look for recipe because I'm like, it's impossible that people live off of chicken and broccoli. Like, it's impossible. So that's basically it. And I said, I see a little video of a guy that said in 2 years I went from a obese to a transformation bodybuilder. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay, I want to do this. I see this guy transform. He gets on stage, and I got motivated. And I said, I looked up online. I saw WBFF. I started training for it. I did 3 shows. I qualified for Worlds, and I won the World Championship against the main top guys that are in the weight loss industry. A lot of those guys.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
competed against them, and for me, it was an honor to beat the best. You know what I mean? And that's basically it. After that, like the fitness industry was.
I like how you say that's basically it. Like you literally turned your life around, but that's just basically it.
Well, you know what I'm saying. Like for me, it was.
I know.
I did it. I did it. I learned how to eat. I learned how to live a healthy lifestyle without being in competition. And
I think is the hardest part for a lot of us.
bingo,
Yeah.
bingo. But you learn that with the process.
Exactly. Like I've been 6 years now. It'll be 6 years. Today's the 15th. It was 6 years ago, January 18th, when I dropped from my heart attack. So
I remember
get it. Yeah.
You told me when I interviewed you.
Yeah, that's right. It's funny how we kind of switched this around now.
I had no idea. You died.
Yeah, I died. They had to bring me back.
Yeah.
And depending on who you asked, it depended if that was a good thing or not. But if it was my ex-wife, maybe. But joking aside, that's absolutely incredible. So you change your life around. You went from, like you said, being morbidly obese, into now you're literally a fitness icon. And during that process, and I'm sure like me, you discovered that as you were losing the weight and building the muscle, you were starting to notice a lot of loose skin.
Yes.
Yeah. And so at what point during that did you start to consider going down the road of having the plastic surgery to deal with that?
So I was never fazed by the loose skin because my first 2 shows, I was completely ripped, and you can still see my abs with the loose skin.
And see, that's pretty rare, actually.
Yeah. So in that part, it didn't really bother me. But once I found out the all-star lineup at Worlds, that's really why I did it. I'm like, Lolly, Bernie, Poro, like the top people. I'm like, I'm gonna have to do something about it because they all, except for Poro, had all done it.
Yeah, and I think Poro since then has had the surgery now.
He had it, and he actually won. He won the world championship. He won Worlds this past year.
Oh, nice. Good for him. Good for him.
He won it. So,
so sorry, we talked a little, just kind of glazed over about the surgery.
Yeah,
what was the actual surgeries that you had?
The only thing I had was called an extended tummy tuck.
Okay.
Which is basically from your hip, maybe a little bit after the mid hip area, all the way across through the front.
Yeah, so pretty much the same tummy tuck I had. Yeah.
That's it. I didn't do the upper body. I didn't do the arms. I didn't do the legs. I filled in the arms. I filled in my chest as much as I could. If you look at my competition pictures, my nipple area is slightly under where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I've had the surgery on my chest to remove the loose skin. Yeah. I still have issues with loose skin. I'm still trying to fill out my chest. Yeah. So kudos to you for being able to. What was I about to ask? I've totally lost all track of where I was. I know a lot of people do have some side effects from the surgery, some complications. Did you experience any yourself?
I did. But I was told ahead of time that it was something that can happen, and I decided to take the risk. So basically, they removed so much skin in that area that I retained a lot of liquid. So the drains that you have to leave on, max, leave them 14 days. So my body started rejecting them because I had to keep them for 28 days.
Oh, wow.
And no intelligent surgeon will let you do it. But mine was like, we're going to go day by day. I don't do this. I'm going to give you medication. I'm going to follow up every single day. And this man was like on point. When I would call, he picked up the phone.
Nice.
So it was either that and keep on going, let it drain, or I would have to manually go in there and they'd have to drain it with a syringe. So I said, you know what? Let me take the risk. I'm just going to do it. So that was the only thing. Other than that, I recommend it to anybody, everybody, in every sense, man. Like even mentally, when you're obese, your dream is to be ripped, to be built, to look good. I guarantee you, and I know it sounds crazy, but you tell someone who's been obese their whole life, I'm going to give you $10 million or I'm going to give you the perfect body, they will stay poor and have the perfect body.
Oh, I can definitely agree with you on that one.
You know what I mean?
At my heaviest, I was well over 500
Yeah.
pounds. My doctor's scale went up to 530 pounds, and I used to error that out when I'd step on it. So I trust me, I know where you're coming from with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And same thing, like I was out trying to do groceries this morning, and here in Canada right now, a liter of egg whites is $8.50. About a year ago was $3.99. So it's just ridiculous what inflation is doing right now. But
Crazy.
still, I wouldn't take the money. I would take that lean, muscular, ripped body.
Yeah. It's like a dream that we all have, man.
Exactly. Now, one thing you did touch on with that was the mental part of the game, which a lot of people don't realize when they're getting into bodybuilding. Excuse me. Especially when you've gone through a transformation like we have, is how much of a mental aspect is actually involved in it. Did you want to talk a little bit about that, or?
Yeah, I mean, look, over everything that I experienced, my main message that I can give people is that body that you're going to have for that show, for that moment, is a rented body. Don't let, you think that once you're there and you're ripped, you're going to stay ripped. And if you don't have the genetics, that's going to disappear within a couple of days. And that's going to mess you up mentally. Because even though, yeah, you still look good, you still look lean, you're going to feel like you're 500 pounds again. You feel like you're messing everything up that you did. And unfortunately, the body's very ungrateful. You know what I mean? It's very ungrateful.
Oh, I know. Like right now, I've actually just been having this conversation with my girlfriend lately because I haven't been on stage in 2 years.
Yeah.
I've spent the past 2 years bulking, trying to add muscle to my frame.
Right.
And I do not have abs anymore. I have a little bit of a belly on me again, and this is messing with my head so badly.
Yeah.
Especially like you see the memories coming up from when you were on stage, when you were ripped, when you had the abs. And then I look in the mirror now and I am just so disgusted with myself. But I have to remember that I'm turning 50 later this year, and I'm in better shape than a lot of 20-year-olds, even where I sit now. But you don't see that when you look in the mirror.
Yeah.
You see what you used to be, you see where you are now. It's like, I wish I had those abs again, but you can't. I shouldn't say you can't. 99% of the world's population can't have those abs year round. And yeah.
Not even professionals.
I know. But it messes with your head.
Yeah, it messes more with us we always suffered with obesity. So we feel like we got to the top of the mountain. Life is perfect. Everything's going to be amazing. And then it's like you lose them in a week. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So I learned what I learned is just, you can't stop working out. You can't stop eating clean. And you got to enjoy yourself every once in a while. And what I mean every once in a while is, hey, listen, if you ate bad twice a week, who cares? For you to gain weight, you got to eat bad a lot, really bad. You know what I mean? Another benefit that I can say of, not since we're talking about plastic surgery, is when they remove all that skin, you're tighter. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, do it in the sense that, even if you pack on a couple pounds, you're not going to like blow up nasty. Remember, they removed all that extra skin.
Actually, I'm glad you mentioned that, because what I've noticed is during the hot summer, I enjoy a cold beer. I enjoy more than one cold beer. But since I've had the skin removal surgery, the tummy tuck, I don't enjoy drinking beer because it makes me bloated from the carbonation. And the skin feels so tight, it feels like it's going to split, which is good because now I have one, maybe two beer. I get that feeling. I'm like, no, I don't want to drink any more beer. But at the same time, if I'm out with my buddies hanging out at the beach or at the pool in the backyard, I miss those days where you could just sit there and sip away and have drinks throughout the day.
I feel you, man.
You know, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it, JC. Before we close this off, I was just wondering, do you have any upcoming competitions you're working towards? Any
No,
projects coming up you want
no.
to
So
share with us right now, or are you going to keep things secret for the
no,
moment?
no, no. I'm not gonna keep it a secret. Basically right now I want to get my body to where I want it to stay as far as ripped wise
Yeah.
forever until God says you're too old to keep it. So I'm not doing any crazy prepping, but I am dieting a little bit stricter. And as soon as I get to where I want to be, I want to know exactly what my macros have to be in order for me to maintain that body.
And that's exactly the same thing I'm working on
That's
right
it.
now myself.
No more shows. I don't like the rebound effect. I don't like I don't like it. It's not real life. It's
Yeah.
not real life. It's a rented body.
Oh, I get it. I get it. But having said that, I'm still toying in the back of my head about maybe doing one more show. I'm thinking maybe next year, maybe 2 years from now. For me, my goal right now is I want to do one more show, but if I do that show, I want it to be like a classic physique show, like not a transformation show. So that's why I'm taking some time right now,
Yeah.
because I know the amount of work involved in it, and I'm just trying to see if at my age, if I still have it in me to do it. So
You can do it. You can do it.
I really do appreciate that. So once again, JC, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Thanks for being on the show.
Oh man, thank you for having me.